Hello, welcome back again. Running adventures, writing adventures, making adventures, creating your own adventures. It's all about that today. For those of you who are looking at this the cityscape and thinking, are we doing a city? No, we're not. No, the day will come, but not today. So for my peace of mind, I've gone with the coastal village. It was requested, and so therefore that's the one we're going to focus on for today. Starting small, working up bigger and bigger and bigger, taking on things that are a bit more manageable. That's really where I'm at. That's what I want to try to focus on. I'm going to put up a poll, so feel free to take part in that poll. Yeah, get some food, some drink, make sure you're comfortable, and we'll get started pretty quickly, get into this, because we've only got just under an hour to get everything done, so we need to be quick. Okay, so I'm going to get you moving. Let's go. Hi, welcome to How to RPG. My name is Fred Weller, and today I want to talk about making, writing, creating your own coastal village. Not a coastal town or a city, but a village, which is much smaller than your city. It's much smaller than a town. It has a few basic rules around it if it's going to be a village. And I actually have a map for you for today. So for those of you who are thinking, I'm not going to get a map, no, you will be getting a map. Okay, I have one. I'm using a different map maker this time around, so it's going to look a little different. Whether you like it or not, I'm not too sure, but it's functional. That's the main thing. And all I've done is use this pre-generating software to create this map. I've exported it. I've then labeled it. We're using paint, and that's it. There's nothing else to it. And all I've done is label numbers on buildings. That's all I've done. That's it. And this is it here. So for those of you who are wondering, what software package is that? I've actually talked about it before. And if you want me to mention it, I certainly will. Right now, though, I want to get you started because we have limited time, okay? And it's more important to actually get moving because we're only under 2 hours to get the bulk of it done. Even with 15 locations, we still need to get a lot done. So, hello, Fred Huber. Fred Huber is a patron. Thank you for being here. And we've also got Osiris. Hello, Osiris. How are you? And Jean CB. Hello, how are you? Okay, let's start off with a couple of questions and then give you a sort of a... Now, I'm going to make it really clear right now for those of you who don't understand this. A village does not have a market. A village does not have the rights to hold a market. A town does. So forget about labeling something a market. Okay, it could be a fishery shop, but there's no such thing as a market. Only towns have a town green. A town green is required to hold a market. If you look at how they are defined, that's how they are defined. So we're not including any market for fish. The village has to send their fish to a different location. Okay, they have to send it to a town or a city where you can hold a market, because you can't hold a market in a village. It's a very basic sort of and simple concept. Remember, village much smaller. Okay, there are literally only 15 locations, 13 buildings. That's it. Okay. Anyway, I will give you a link to the map. Let me get you started with a couple of questions. What is the village called? Okay, and what type of coastal business is it involved in? Okay, that's our first question. Next, I like to get people to break down things. Yes, Fred is correct. The 15 is obviously the fishing pier. It is the wharf. So we can... Now, number 14, you might be looking at that and thinking, is that a fountain in the center of the village? Is that a well? Is that a statue? That's up to you. You could include all of them if you really wanted to. It could be a fountain with a statue. It could be just a well. I mean, yeah. Anyway, but let me just get you started with how we do this. Number, the location you want to actually work with. Number, location. So pick a number on the map that you want to actually work with. And this is what you need to work to aim for. This is the structure we're looking for. You do not have to have everything under the sun. I'll make that clear, okay? Is there farmland to the northeast? Yeah, there is. If you look at the map, you'll see to the north there is an area of farmland. So there is some rows, some ploughing that's been done. So you've got something going on here, okay? All right, now let me get you the next part of what we need, which is describe exterior or interior features, because we're dealing with a lot of buildings. Okay, so we're gonna aim for buildings rather than collections of buildings this time. Okay, features, we need to go with noise. If noise is an issue, we need to deal with furniture. Furniture, this is one of those times where we're actually going to be using furniture inside buildings. Props, odor, if we're dealing with smell, and probably odor is a big thing, odors. The smelly fish, right, smelly fish. Monsters, if we have monsters, and then we probably won't have a lot of monsters in town. But we'll also call that NPCs. Now, NPCs, pretty vital for a village. They're kind of like the backbone, the blood of a village is having NPCs. Now, I'm not going to say so much traps, but hazards might be a thing. You're going to find a lot less traps and hazards in a village. It's not a big factor, right? I will include puzzles. Again, lock and key puzzles are probably best, where you find a key to unlock a door or a lock of some kind is probably the easiest way to deal with that. So the puzzle, we also have objects that they can take, objects they can interact with, and we also want to include treasure. Now, treasure can be anything. It can be junk, can be gold, can be... You're probably not going to find a lot of magic items in a village, okay? And I haven't said anything about hooks. There's a reason why I haven't said anything about hooks, is because we will lead back to hooks, but we need to get the basics done. Now, there's another thing I want to do with regard to NPCs. Your structure for NPCs, hashtag. Build your NPC this way. NPCs, go with name, appearance. You can break this down into very short sentences, or literally 3 sentences, and you can do most of it, okay? Name, appearance, personality trait. One personality trait, how to role play that character. These your second sentence. Name and appearance is your first sentence. Last one, motivation or secret. It doesn't have to be both, okay? That's how I would structure your NPCs. NPCs in a village are probably vital, because you're dealing with a situation where you're not really going from one place to another butchering monsters, okay? Not unless the village has been taken over by a whole bunch of monsters. So that's the gist of it. Now I'm working on a Google Doc in the background, and I'll be taking your ideas, incorporating them as best I can into here. So Savine, Simalot, the fish market manager. Okay, so we're going to change fish market to the fisheries shop, or something like that. I don't know where he's supposed to go or where they're supposed to go, but we'll deal with that later. That's unimportant. So let's just get stuff down. And get us rolling. Okay, all right. So we've got an NPC, which we can come back to, and we can place somewhere. So what are we thinking? Lovecraftian Ismouth kind of thing, or maybe a pirate kind of thing, or what? Well, Osiris, like that's again, that's really up to you guys. You decide. Do we want to go Lovecraftian? Do we want to go just pirate side of things? I guess that it's going to depend on what people come up with in terms of ideas. The best ideas tend to float to the top, right? No ideas don't float to the top, but the best ideas. I actually made a village maze combined over the edge of a lake with an underground canals to go through. Oh, okay. Interesting. All right, so 8. You have marked 8 as... sorry, people. As a market. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just call it the fishery. So 8 is the fishery. But not a market as such. It's just a fishery. Fishery shop. And this is where probably we'll put that NPC that you created, Fred. 15 is obviously the pier. Yes, the fishing pier. The village pier. And grab that. This long wooden let's just go with a something long, I don't know how long we want to make it. Does it need to be a certain length? Let's say 100 feet's not really that much. 100 feet, 150 foot long wooden wharf. Is where boats and fishing vessels dock. Pretty simple. Okay, let's keep going. Shadow of Ismouth is a big inspiration. Hello, Crunchy. How are you doing, Crunchy245? Shadow of Ismouth. I don't know what that really means. You'd have to explain far more to me so that I understand what we're dealing with here. Because right now it doesn't mean very much to me. I don't know what that means. So you'll have to explain more. And hopefully we'll get that as I scroll on down. Is there supposed to be an amulet? What's this map? Okay, so before I go too far, you guys keep doing your thing and I will take things across and start dealing with stuff. But I will at least forward you the pardon me. I will forward you the map program that I have used so that you know where to get it. There are some pre-gens. I used a pre-gen of this, so it does have the ability to sort of make your own stuff, but I find also that sometimes it's a lot better to use the pre-gen generator. It just has a better layout for sort of narrowing in on exactly what you want. So there's a little bit more detail going on, and it is called, it's actually listed as being a city generator, but you can make a village from it, for those of you who are wondering. So scroll on down here, drop this in so that you can see it. Paste. So this is the software. So hashtag. This is the software I used to make the map. Play around with it. Use the pre-gens. You'll probably find what you're looking for. Okay. So that is the actual link. Bum bum bum. Hopefully that works for people. I'm hoping it does. Okay, moving along. Here we go. Yes, we've established that there is some plough marks. And okay. What do they grow exactly? We've got some names for places, which is good. Fishing village. So Fred has got Sevinsville. You've been using that French, what do you call it? Translator, I believe. Correct? Okay, let's go here. We'll come back to that. Just keep moving. Green water is known for fish. Known for fish. Okay, Osiris, we'll take your green water. And it's known for fish. Let's keep going. Hamptonville. Crunchy 245. We got your Hamptonville. Let's do that. Hamptonville. Now, I know that for a village, like 13 locations, 13 buildings seems like a lot. Some of these buildings probably should be houses rather than just shops, just to warn you. So that some of these should be probably houses. Okay, liquors and sweets, that there's enough forest on the south for orchards and a farm area. Add beehives, interesting things out of the water, shellfish maybe. Okay. So we'll take this. This is just an idea. So Jean, I will take your idea or drop it down the bottom there and we'll see what we do with it later. And paste. Okay. Okay, 9 is the home of the village leader. Well, that's fine. Home of the village leader. We just need a village leader. What's their name? That's the question. If we're marking 9 as the village leader, what home are we dealing with here? So there's a lot of question marks around that. Okay, let's keep going. At night, green, glowing algae and fog. Okay, so that's really like a feature of the village itself. So that would go into the main features. We can do that. At night, green, glowing algae and why do we have green glowing algae and then there's fog is also glowing algae? I suppose is it because of the light coming off the algae? Water. Okay, so I've written down here, at night, green, glowing algae and fog can be seen coming off the water. Okay, so we've got your idea. I've done a little bit with it. Next, name of the village. Glass Beach, known for the sculptures made from lightning rods driven down into the sand. Okay, you want to call it Glass Beach. It's an interesting idea. Let's put that in there. I actually like the idea if that's the case, is there somebody who's set up a business here in this fishing town that makes sculptures and has a shop where they sell them, and you can only really get it at this place. Maybe they send it off to marketplaces in towns and cities further away. Maybe that's what's sort of going on here as well. The fish harvested are transported to nearby towns and cities to be sold in large marketplaces. Okay, a feature of our village because it's small. Call it the fishing supply seller. Okay, a fishing buyer instead of a fish market. Okay, fishing supply. Fishing supply. So that's fine. We'll change 8 to fishing supplies. Fishing. And that would probably make sense that they sell something in terms of fishing supplies anyway. 10 could be the Big Fish Tavern. I like that idea. So 10 is where? 10 is there. 10 is a reasonably large building. It's pretty central. So yes, Big Fish Tavern. Crunchy. We've got that as number 10. Okay, moving along. Dun, 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 dun. Big Fish Tavern. Good. 8, fishmonger. You want to call it just a fishmonger? Well, I feel like we could have a fishing supplies and we could have a fishmonger. So let's, instead of it being 8, we don't need to fight over 8. We can have the fishmonger as being 7. 7 could be the fishmonger. Okay? Right beside, well, pretty close to where the fishing supplies is. So, fishmonger. We need an NPC. We need an NPC and sort of an idea of what this place looks like or smells like or something like that. 13, Osiris has said the stables and the carriage storage area. 13, yep, so it's a little bit further out of town. I can see that. Do we have I mean, that's a description of what it is. Do we have a name for this place, 13 Osiris? Because that would be good if we did. I don't know what that would be right now, but I think you have kind of described roughly what it is. And we could do with an NPC that deals that location as well. Oops, you guys are quite some distance on, so I'm trying to catch up. Known for their oysters and pearls. Okay, hang on. And pearl jewelry. Why pearl jewelry? Why not just pearls? I feel, is there somebody who's actually taking the pearls and doing something with them? Let's see what we do here. We've got a lot going on here. I'm going to have to condense some of this stuff, but we'll come back to it. Jewelry. No, not American English. Okay. Dragon lives down the well. You want to put a dragon down the well? I don't think there's going to be a dragon that could fit down that well. Yeah. I think that's what could we put down there that isn't just like a full-blown dragon? Because there's no way you would have a village with a dragon living down a well. It sounds cool, but how practical is it? It would be a disaster. It just wouldn't work. Not unless the dragon kept to itself and nobody even knew it was down there in the first place. Do you know what I mean? What else have we got here? We could have roads all paved in oysters and clamshells. I suppose you could. Roads are paved in. Let's put that down. I think that's I don't know about oyster shells, but clam shells I can see. Oyster shells would just cause too much damage, don't you think? Oysters are too sharp, but we could do the other one, and that would be quite fun. I like that idea. The village roads are paved in clamshells. Paved in clamshells. All loose. Shell pieces. We don't use gravel here, we use shells because we've got plenty of them. 10, an old dilapidated inn or tavern. 10. Did we have 10 already? 10 was, okay, so you want to describe it? Yep, okay, it's an old dilapidated inn or tavern. Inn and tavern. Paste. And tavern, okay. We've got that. The map I made was over the water though. The village part was 2 or 3 stories up on the structure. Okay. Okay, so Shadow over its mouth was about a man who went to a village inhabited by fishman cult who worshipped a great old one named Dragon. Oh, I see where we're going with the dragon thing. I see. I get it now. Now I understand. We've got the software thing. I'm still well and truly behind. So I'm going to put a mark here. It's kind of like, yeah, we've essentially got the center is like a roundabout. So that's very true. That's exactly what you're on the right track with that one. Let me just go here and we'll just keep prompting you guys, and I'll go down to the next lot of stuff that I need to keep track of, but I just don't want to lose you, so that people are here who have just jumped in know what's going on. This is what we're doing, okay? Pick a location, a number, and I fill in the gaps. All right, so we're under the software. Okay, here we go. Is it a saltwater or freshwater also would be important? That's up to you guys. You tell me. Are we going saltwater or freshwater? More about 8. Smelly, strong smelling strongly of fish. It's building. Okay, so you've got a whole bunch of information here. So let's take this, and I'll just drop that in now. Okay, all right. There is a strong smell of fish in the old. What color are we going to make it? Old something. Do we need a color for it? Green building. Don't know why it's green. This building has an area for selling fishing tackles, nets, hunting bows, spears, crab cages, and a large table covered in fresh fish. Okay, the far end from the fishing tackles has 2 tanks for live fish. Okay, I got it. Done. Okay, so Severin is a common Norwegian, and others. Oh, not translated. Okay, all right. My mistake there. Okay, I would expect a regular shipment of fish from this town goes to the nearest city. From this village, not town, village. It's a village. It's in the title. It's a village. Yes, it does go to the nearest city. It would be. So we've kind of covered that. So we've got that going. Right, what if the thing thing about this. What if the village has started worshipping an aboleth Leviathan and they are undergoing a change, but the village leader is normal and doesn't worship it? You're jumping. I know what you're trying to do. You're jumping to adventure hooks. Let's build the village and then build the story around the village. Does that make sense? We always wind up with this problem with you guys focus on event and story and plot, and you don't focus on actually making the village. This is why I'm here, to try to rope you in. We will come back to those kinds of concepts. So deal with, as I said, deal with the location, the numbers, and deciding who's here, what the NPCs are, and then we go from there. Have a structure first. Okay, if we jump too soon, we won't get it done. Luminescent. Fog is really cool though. I could just have a gas lights or street lights that illuminate the fog normally. So luminescent. Okay, let's take luminescent. At night, green, glowing. Luminescent. Yes, we've got your word in there. You wanted that word there. It's there. Done, John. Thus he was meant to be essentially reporting into the larger power who owns the village, and since he is normal, okay, I'm gone. You lost me, dude. You stick with the village rather than the story. You're writing a novel. We're not here to write a novel. I know people have a really hard time understanding this. When you're writing an adventure, you have to write it like a reference book. You can't write it like a fucking novel. You have to write it like a reference book. So that means you break it up into pieces. We've got things like adventure hooks we'll deal with after. But first off, we're going to start off with the main features of our village. Then each location, okay, we deal with a basic, it can be as small as a sentence, a basic description of what that location's like. Who's in that location? That's NPCs, the things that your player characters can interact with. Those are the things we really need to have. We deal with story later on. I'm not giving you a hard time, Osiris. I'm just trying to lead you back in the right direction. Okay? Stop thinking about story and adventure hooks and think more about the location, because otherwise you never get your village done. Okay. 7 is a smokehouse for smoking fish. That's actually clever. I like that idea, but I'm going to make that number 6. I think I'm going to make that number 6. Okay. I like the idea of a smokehouse, but we've got our fishmonger already there. Fishing supplies. We will have that can be a fish shop, and they're probably the ones who sort of buy stuff and then transport it out. So let's go with that. Smokehouse. Shack for smoking fish to be shipped a long way or stored for winter. Yep, absolutely. Good idea. Brilliant. Next. Here we go in an NPC. Now you're on. Have you got an NPC? Town leader. He is a good man with a family, but is slowly growing weary of the changes going on with his people. Maybe some of them worship. Okay, now you've actually tied it to an NPC. Much better. Much better. So this is our town leader. So we go to our town leader location. We head. We can't have everybody starting with 7. So we might have to change the name a little bit. Might have to be something else. Let's have a look here. Paste. Highwind, 7 Highwind, town leader. Okay, so we've got a little bit of NPC stuff now, which is good. Do you have a lighthouse? Now, there's no lighthouse that you can see on the map. Okay, Hello, John B. How are you? The lighthouse would be too far away. It's just not mapped out, so don't worry about a lighthouse for now. Okay. It's a roundabout with a memorial sculpture in the centre. At night, the fog rolls in and is illuminated by the street lights, marking the various buildings with ample grassy areas between them. Okay, so I'm going to take we'll take our 14, and we'll take some of that. I don't know about all of that, but we'll take some of that. So bright at night becomes a fog is bright. Okay, so hang on. So bright at night because the fog is bright. You do realise that fog is not bright. Even if you shine light on fog, it's not bright. It's probably not going to work that way. Okay, so we'll just call this the village centre. Here we go. It's a roundabout. Let's just go a roundabout. A roundabout with a memorial structure. Standing in a water fountain in the centre of the village. Okay. So now you've got at night. At night. A street lamp. At night, street lamps illuminate various buildings with yeah. Okay, I think I got it. Illuminate. Okay, I've got your village centre nailed down pretty much. I think that's got it. It took me a little while to decipher it, but yeah, you got the main important bits are there, so we're good. Okay, next. Samuel Fisher, the town's local fisherman who is said to have been going through some skin malady, but is good at his job, has examining his hauls. He has been to. Okay, so okay. It's coming along quite nicely, actually. I'm going to put Samuel the Fisher. We're going to see where there's a little bit of competition. I need to keep you up to date as to what has been done, I guess, since I'm falling behind. What I want to do is I'm just going to start dropping stuff in here. Samuel the Fisher, we need to put somewhere. I really want to put Samuel the Fisher into the fishing supplies, but he could also be the fishmonger. So yeah, I'm going to just leave him as we can decide where he goes for now. He might spend a lot of his time on the wharf or pier. There's another option there. But we have a whole NPC which is doing part of the work that we need, which is great. 11 is a chapel. 11 could be a chapel. Why not? Hello, Pale Rider. How are you doing? Hello, Derp. How is it going, mate? Abbot Rex is the congregation leader. He is a thin man with rat-like features. He is helped by two brothers, Mort and Glenn. I feel like there's something going on there. You've done a pretty good job, Pale Rider, of nailing that down. 11 is mostly done. The only thing we don't have is we don't have a motivation. So Rex is helped by his brothers, but what is helped by his brothers, by two brothers, Mort and Glenn. So that's great. That's now the well. Here we go. The centre. Well, fishing market. No, no fishing market. It's a village. Remember, there are no markets in a village. That's something that a town or a city gets. Bristling open air market with no. Okay, I'm gonna move on from that. We're not doing that bit. The mayor, self-appointed person who insists this place is a town and he's the leader. Okay, all right, the self-appointed. You want that for 11? Why are we dealing with 11 here? Oh, I see. You're going back to the abbot. You're really making things complicated, aren't you? Okay, let's have a look here. Okay, right. I need to do a refresh so you can see what areas are still left to be done. 11. The chapel is plain wood filled with benches and a dais at one end. Also, there is a living quarter behind the dais and upstairs. Okay. So you've done a really good job with just fleshing out just that one location. Okay, so here we go. Nope. So let's have a look here. Paste. The white building. The white building is plain wood and filled with benches and a dais at one end. Not also, but there. There's living quarters. There are living quarters behind the dais and upstairs. Okay, right. There's your chapel done. Very nice. Lake sounds cooler because it's a limited area. The plot device or a dungeon can be hidden just right in the centre. Suppose it could be. Let's take your idea. We'll see what that turns into. The town full. The village idiot. Okay. What am I doing here? Am I taking this idea? Okay, so there's a lot going on here. All right, so, okay, keep going. Town full. We don't have very much information on the town full, so I'll just write down town full. Uh, 11 outside. They have a garden growing olives, spinach, potatoes. Okay. Okay, all right. Man, you really are working on this. Ramshackled. 11 is ramshackled shack that is fresh, water washed, despite looking. Okay. Whitewashed. Ramshackled and whitewashed. I think we can deal with that. Oh, good. We got an NPC now. Awesome. Thank you, Derp. I appreciate that. It's good to see. So, ramshackled and whitewashed. Is plain wood. The vegetable garden outside. Where Yeah, olives, spinach, potatoes, corn, tomatoes, and cucumber. Grow. Inside the chapel, I think I've got that done. Okay, cool. Whew, there's a lot to go there. So I've taken all of the ideas from Fred Hubert and Pale Rider, and I've kind of mashed them together. I haven't used the exact wording, but I've taken whitewashed, I've taken ramshackled for the chapel. I've taken the veggie garden, I put the veggie garden in. So we've got plenty going on there. Okay, so man, I am so far behind and I need to catch up. NPC. Right, let's take this NPC. Done a pretty good job of narrowing down what we're dealing with here, which is pretty good. I like it when we have a bunch of NPCs and I can plop them in wherever need be, which is great. For those of you who are wondering, what's the deal with a village? Honestly, villages are locations often that just have a lot of NPCs. Midnight fishermen. They only appear at night being suspicious. I don't really know what that means. I'm lost. I live in notes somewhere else. Yeah, no, I've got it. I think that's... I like the idea, because when I think back to villages and churches and chapels where I used to live, they were often, they weren't in great shape. There wasn't a lot of money put into them because there wasn't a lot of money to put into them. Do you know what I mean? It was dependent on a lot of different factors. Unused number, okay. The Nautilus Schoolhouse, I think that's great. I want to come back to that. But I want to actually start. Do I need to start pushing you in the direction of NPCs, or are we doing pretty well with? We could go with NPCs. We could not. No, I think we're still dealing with locations, and we are all right for time. So at least let's give you another prompt for that, and I will keep jumping through here. Whew. I need to give you an update, I know. But yeah, even if, look, I'll say it right now, the areas that we still don't have are area 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, okay? We don't have a description of our fishmonger, but probably not the end of the world. We could probably deal with that. Area 12 is still not established. We don't have a name for the stables and carriage storage area, which is 13. So those are the things that we're dealing with here, okay? In fact, what I will do is I will do an update and then I'll go back. Hashtag areas not done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What else? The other one? What's the other ones? 5, 12. 12. Okay. All right. Where's that schoolhouse that was... here we go. The Nautilus Schoolhouse. I like that. That's cool. So we need a building that's big enough to support something like that. I think we'll put the schoolhouse relatively close to business. No, a little bit further away. It's kind of, I feel like it's always on the hill. 12 can be the schoolhouse. Nautilus Schoolhouse. Why not? Paste. Inside, rows of wooden desks and benches for children laid out. Rows of small wooden desks and benches for children are laid out. The walls covered with maps of the sea, drawings of marine life, and educational charts. Brilliant. Well, now we just need a school teacher. We need an NPC school teacher for this location. And our schoolhouse is done. The town well, some of the villagers drop offerings or food or treasure down there. I think instead of the well, we're gonna make it a it's a fountain now. It's a fountain or pool of water, and it's got a statue. So oh, we've got a teacher. He's doing the teacher already. Well done. Now we're talking. My hat is gone, guys. My hat is gone. I like the idea that villagers drop offerings of something down there. I don't know about food, but let's drop something in there. 14. Paste. The villagers drop offerings of coins. Offerings of coins. So coins, and now I know that this is something that I've seen people do before. And small treasures. Into the fountain's pool. Villagers drop offerings of coins and small treasures into the fountain's pool to it's got to be around getting good weather and a nice fishing hole. So I think it's got to be around that. The villagers drop offerings of coins and small treasures into the fountain's pool to gain the favor of the gods of the sea gods. I think that's probably what we want to do there. I think that's good. Teacher, here we go. The school is run by Miss Caroline Brightwave, a knowledgeable and patient human woman in her early 30s with long wavy hair and kind eyes. Okay, nice. Let us take our schoolhouse that you've got. We now have an NPC. The school. Good. 30s. I'm pretty happy with that. That looks great. Nice one, Derp. I'm impressed. John B. Would town persons sell fish for sale in the daytime? So here's what you'll find in a very small fishing village, and this used to happen to me, is there is always somebody trying to sell fish straight off the dock or close to the dock. You can be guaranteed this because I lived in that sort of place. Okay, a lot of the catch that they can't sell is often boiled up or cooked or offered for free, and sort of like a sort of communal cook-off, you might say, when they have catches that are either too small, that can't be sold, or and they don't want to throw them back in the water because it would be that they're already dead. They often will collecting nets. This used to happen to me when I was living near in a fishing village. Crayfish was one of the big factors. We would get crayfish, and the crayfish were too small. They would dump all the crayfish into big, huge drums and just cook them, rather than taking all of those crayfish out and dumping them back in the water. Now, it's not the done thing nowadays to do that sort of thing, but you do definitely sell fish from a village, but not in bulk. It's usually a very small sort of thing. It's not a full marketplace. It'll probably just be one location. It might even be literally just straight off the dock. Do you know what I mean? Team of the dead, the custom to spread ashes in the water. I'm not sure what this is all about, Pale Rider. So let me just grab these notes and I'll just put it in here and see what we do with it later. Okay, hashtag. Paste. Completely lost by that, but yeah. Abandoned haunted house. Yes, a haunted house is a good idea. Absolutely. Having a haunted house is a fun thing. The problem is there's so many houses. Abandoned haunted house. The roof is partially broken. So we can put that pretty much anywhere we like. So the other posters show up after I post. Makes location numbers conflicting. No, I'm sorting it out, Fred Huber. I am actually moving things around if they are conflicting. So she's all good. We're doing all right. We're doing fine. So, abandoned haunted house. We just need to pick a location for this. Osiris is selected building 1, building 2. Okay, so building 1 and building 2. Let's put in abandoned is the 3. I think that's going to be the one we're going to work with here. Abandoned is 3. Abandoned house. I don't want to say haunted house, just abandoned house. We lead too much into it. If it's haunted, then when we start dealing with it, we'll go from there. If we're putting a ghost in here. The roof is partially collapsed and broken windows give the house a skeletal appearance. Tangled vines and overgrown weeds choke the front yard. Yard and porch. Deck, porch. Pouch, porch. I think that's right. Porch. A ghost. Do we want to put a ghost in here? A ghost named something. Haunts the house. And we'll put that a question mark. So if you want to do something with that, you can. I'm all for it. Let me just see if I can find where I was up to. Which building? Which building is not sure, which is not used. No, I totally get it. It's because I'm so slow and you guys are going so fast. It's too tempting to hide the MacGuffin in the lake. And how about in a hollow tree or roots of I don't know what this is all about. I'm not really fond of putting muffins in my adventures. I mean, you can. I mean, I'm sure everybody likes a muffin every once in a while. A McMuffin, yeah. It's a tool I get. I get it. I know I'm playing with you a little bit with the McMuffin thing, but I don't know that we need to worry about that yet. Remember, we're into an hour and we're dealing with locations, so try not to get. Yeah, you're going to get sidetracked. This is also not a novel or a TV show, so we don't need a MacGuffin. That's right. Remember, MacGuffins are for things where we have a story and we're not dealing with story. Not numbered. Fruit trees south of town. The community shares the harvests. I think this is a good idea. I like this. This here, I think, has sort of nails down that maybe building 5 is connected in some way to that. So I'm going to put this under main features of the town itself, what you've got there, because I like that a lot. Fruit trees south of town, south of the village. the village. Are community orchards. Orchards that are shared, harvested, harvested. Harvested. Okay, so the upkeep of the apple and pear trees on the south side of trees is done by all locals. I think that's a fun idea. I always like the idea. I like that idea a lot, Derp. I don't know if that's exactly what you were after, but I think that's brilliant. It looks like the buildings would be storage houses for passing trade, maybe 5. These are houses where people live in them. Yeah, so you can have, you still want to have some houses that people live in, so we need to have some homes. So we need to have an old house. That's what we want, absolutely. Dock, crude graffiti. You want to put some crude graffiti on the dock? All right. We'll put that in there. Crude graffiti. A 100-foot long wooden dwarf covered in no, let's do that. Crew graffiti is where boats and fishing vessels dock. Okay, right, nice. NPC, Mouser, the leader of the band of 3 thieves. They pose as fishermen but are connected to a smuggling ring. Their smuggling ring smuggling things into town cities by stuffing in fish. Okay, all right. I see what you're trying to do here. So this is we have an NPC, but we need a place to stick our NPC. All right, so let's do that. Paste. I'll come back to that. Whew, getting there. Oh, I'm still far, far behind. Okay, 1. An old house which is said to belong to an adventurer, but no one has seen him around and no one goes in there. The old house. Okay, so this is number 1. I think that's right. Yep, we're all good. Number 1. Paste. Old house. Let's go old cottage, shall we? Which is said to belong to an adventurer, but no one has seen him around, and no one goes inside. Right, so that's it's a mystery, isn't it? Okay, 2, 10, 9. So it look like they would be buildings people live in. This is a fisherman market. Okay, all right, let's keep going. I think, where am I up to in terms of locations that need to be done? Area 2, building 2, building 4, building 5. And that's it. Everything else has been allocated. There's only 3 places to allocate, so we're good. to call it a fish market. Yes, that's right. I didn't want to call it a fishing market because a market sort of suggests something else. Okay. All right. Cool. So let's take that and we'll put our NPC in there. Okay, all right. Got that. Next. One would be really nice house which would be stocked with supplies and weapons with some amount of money inside, but with some strong locks. Okay. Okay, so let's go here and go back to 1. I see what you're trying to do here. So let's go the exterior and interior is well maintained. The house is stocked with supplies, armor, and weapons. Oh. Okay. The house is. The house is locked with strong padlocks. That's stores a wide range of supplies. Supplies, armor, weapons with okay, so I think I know what you're trying to do here, so just give me a second while I just rewrite that a little bit. Weapons and a safe and a iron safe filled with coins. Something like that. Okay. All right. We don't have a general store. Nobody said anything about a general store. Even in a village, you'll always find a general store, and nobody's mentioned anything about a general store, which I find interesting that we didn't get a general store, but that's all right. Have to compensate for people that travel to and from the village that don't actually live there, like other students. Okay. I'm not quite sure what that all means. I'm just going to copy and paste that in. Deal with that later. So again, as I said, we still have 3 locations: Area 2, Area 4, and 5, and we could do with a name for our stables, and then we're pretty good. And it's I mean, these locations can be houses. That probably makes sense to include plenty of houses. Villages don't necessarily have to have like town-like shops and so forth, because remember, it's small. South of Village is a pecan tree grove tended by a halfling named. Okay. I'm going to add pecan, but I like the let's go back to fruit trees off the apple, pear, and pecan trees. You don't want to do that. You want to go with this. Halfling. Fairer. He was red-haired, wicked. Okay, so there's something going on here, Pale Rider. Interesting. Man, there's so much. Village sheriff. You know, there's almost never a sheriff in a village. You almost never find law in a village. It's so rare. I know, because I've lived in villages before. You get them small enough, and there's nobody that does that. What we do need to do is we need to have a house. Let's call this the. I think out of all of them, it's going to have to be two. Is it 2? No, 2 could be something else. It could be 4 or 5, and I think 5 is the one that we'll go with. 5 is the Grove House. Orchard House. Let's call it the Orchard House and put your NPC there. And we'll put our halfling in there. Okay. Right. That's another one down. What's the beach sand like? Sand, mud, shells, seaweed, or plants? That's really, John, Joan, that's up to you. You tell me. If you want to describe what the beach is like, that's great. That would go down under main features. Do you know what I mean? So I think that would be where that would go if we're dealing with that aspect of it. And next. Sea driftwood. Boat right. Repairs boats. An elderly gnome with a withered face, missing a few teeth and a permanent squint. He wears a leather apron and has various tools hanging from his belt. So, I think, where are we going to stick him? Let's stick him in a location. We give him a house. He's the boatwright. Let's call him the boatwright house. Boat right house. Okay. And we'll put our NPC here. Sea driftwood. Okay, right, so I'll break that down later. Snack house, but I don't want to say anything. Cool scene though. I'm not sure what that means. Muffins, McMuffins. Probably has some cool snackos in their desk too. Clucker, McCow, chicken human, Aarakocra farmer raises corn and peas. Okay, all right, so we got some NPCs coming through. I think we're down to. Let's deal with NPCs. NPCs is where we need to be. I think that's our big focus is NPCs. So let me just go back here and give you a new prompt, which is more around NPCs and creating NPCs. Because we can plonk out NPCs pretty much anywhere we like if we need to. So let's go here. Paste. That's what we need. NPCs for our locations. I'm going to go through the documents when I get a chance, because I'm still fighting my way through everything, but we're getting there. We've got this. There's so much information here. Which building? Fruit trees. No. Okay, yes. The pecan thing, we've got the boat right, driftwood. I think we've got, did I get this down? New NPC. Where we put it, nobody knows. Ah, dear. Corn and peas, eh? Okay. 2. I think that's going to be our general store. General store. I'm going to mark that as general store. All right, general store is our is number 2. That means we have all of our areas locations actually mostly named. We don't have a name for the stables and the carriage area. I'm just going to call it general store. I'm not going to give it a particular name unless you want to do that. That's really up to you. Now we're very much about describing each location if it needs it. But I think NPCs are more important. I think describing those locations is not going to be quite so important. I think it's the NPC, because village is really about NPCs. It really is. So let's concentrate on the NPCs, and then we'll be able to deal with adventure hooks that link into those NPCs, because that's what you're ultimately trying to do. Is you need the NPCs so you can link into it in an adventure hook. The farm needs something. The South Forest already got an NPC. Yes, the farm. Yes, fair enough. And you do have a boat right likely occupying the shore, so that they can work on the boats. Yes, they might work on the shoreline, but they'll have a house somewhere that they live, right? 5, storehouse for pecans. I believe with 5 is the orchard house. So there may be some storage of fruit there and pecans for sure. So storage of pecans, okay. Okay, so let's go here. Paste. Here, boxes of apples, pears, and pecans. Pecans are stored let's go here, crates, boxes, crates of apples, pears, and pecans are stored behind the house. Okay, all right, cool. School teacher, you need a tavern food. We do not have somebody, we don't have a the tavern owner or the tavern tender or barmaids or anything like that. So if we want to have that, that's probably a good thing to consider as an NPC for that. Okay. I wouldn't put an actual armourer or a weaponsmith here. No, I'm not going to. If anything, advanced fishing supplies and mechanics. We have a fishing supplies place, so we've got that. Yep. A hide, cool, armor and weapons in a small stash spot instead of having a store. Now, we're not having a store, but we will have the adventurous house will have some stuff. We'll put some stuff there. There should be a local artisan who makes and repairs fishing nets. Well, I think what we do is, hello, Murray Shack, how are you? Also a patron, nice to have you here. I think what we do is we have the repairs to fishing nets is done in the fishing supplies place by whoever is in the fishing supplies place, which is number 8. Fishing supplies. We don't have an NPC for that location, okay, but we can do this. If I end tank, repairs to fishing nets, bows, spears, and tackles are performed by somebody to love. Okay. And if the NPCs visit the net maker, they can learn about nets being destroyed or more often, or they had one net and noted for clue. Okay, I see what we're going with this. You're trying to lead into the adventure hooks. You guys are already ready to go. I want to leave it to 1:30, which is 6 minutes away, and then we'll do adventure hooks. Okay, village sheriff, house and office with a cell. Wave of the Drak, the sheriff. I don't know that a sheriff is really going to be. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work. I like the name, the name, and the fact that they're a veteran and so forth. That's fine. We can use that. Okay. Hashtag. Paste. But I don't think I want to put a sheriff in here if we can help it. 5, part warehouse for pecans and part general store. No, I think number 2 is the general store. There has not been a single village that I've ever come across over the years that has law enforcement. They're just too small. So I don't think we won't worry about that. Next thing. Oh, Sturm Oaken. A burly bald man with hairy shoulders. Bingo. There we go. So we go here. Sturm Oaken, a burly bald man with, here it goes. Honestly, store. Good. Nice. We've got a name and a description. Did a really good job of that. Would be good to have a personality trait and maybe a motivation for that NPC. But really, we're on the right track. How many people actually live on the direct map though? Just thinking about buildings represented, not scale. So anything that's not on the map, forget about it. Doesn't exist. One of the biggest problems we always wind up doing as a game master and dungeon master is we create things that will never get used. This is one of the biggest problems that we have, is we create stuff that is actually unnecessary. Just leave those things alone. Yeah, we got general store, school teacher, pecan grove, fishmonger, sheriff. I don't know about sheriff. Fletcher, a blind man that repairs nets all day. So, I don't know about this, but Fletcher, we've got an NPC. I like that idea. So let's keep going. We've got plenty of stuff going on here. I'm going to have to open it up and start moving things around. We're going to have to start dealing with adventure hooks at this point, which means I have to show you some stuff, don't I? Because I haven't really shown you anything. You just know that I've been jotting down, or should I copying and pasting a lot of your stuff because I can't keep up. All right. No, +2 fishermen, chasmans, NPC. Shep, a half-elf ranger that passes through, trading pelts and information for supplies, can be hired as a guide sometimes. Okay. So we've got an NPC that isn't actually tied to anything in particular. Nobody's wanted to actually have an NPC for the stables by the looks. We might wind up cannibalizing some of these. That was my idea behind the old adventurer house. There would be some treasure in this house, but hard to get to. A mini challenge. Osiris, I like the idea. I think what it does is it means that, you know, there's an opportunity to find these sorts of things in a place that would not normally have them. So I actually think there's a lot. It's a smart idea. It really is. The fur trade ranger is 9 NPCs. I think there's one more. We forgot. Mayor. No, we do actually have somebody. We have we don't have a mayor. You don't usually have a mayor in a village, but you might have a village leader, you know. I suppose you could say that's a mayor, Fred. I suppose it is. The old crow and herbalist healer. NPC. Lives in TP type. Pecan. You're creating stuff that we don't need. Creating, I mean, I'm not saying it's not good stuff, but let's create stuff that we do need. Let's create stuff that is tied to locations and deal with the stuff that we will need. Because you will need an NPC for the stables. We don't even have a name of the stables. Do we just call it stables and carriages? I mean, I don't know. We've got a school teacher and a schoolhouse. We've got a chapel. We've got an NPC for that, Abbot Rex. We do not have a tavern owner. Who runs the tavern? We have the name of the village leader. We have the fishing supplies, but we don't, well, I think we do have somebody who can potentially fill that slot. We do have somebody for the fishmonger. The smokehouse we haven't sort of necessarily established. The boathouse has got a gnome there. The orchard house has got a character there as well. The abandoned house, we don't have the name of the ghost. If we're going to have an abandoned place, which is area 3, we have a name for the person who runs the general store. We've got information on that. And the old cottage, I mean, ultimately it would be nice to have at least an idea of who is there. But we're going to have to make a big, huge shift. I'm going to have to do a lot of that stuff because we're going to have to move over to dealing with adventure hooks. The +2 out of the 2 teams. I don't know what they were talking about here. John Wayne, approximately 1939, a village town, has 1 resident. He's a mayor, marshal, and postmaster, and everything else, and he's nuts. Yeah, that's a movie. I know it's fantasy, but let's forget about that bit. Let's keep going. If we collaborate, we can make a full campaign in under 2 hours. We can make a full adventure. I don't know about a campaign. We can do it, yes. A rare bird with a black beak and distant colour eats in a lake. I don't know what that's all about. I'm not sure what we're going with here. Okay, let's do this. Let's get you onto adventure hooks. You've been chafing at the bit to do adventure hooks. Hashtag. What are some adventure hooks, quests, or things that the player characters can do in the village or around it? Okay, you wanted it? We are here. Thank God somebody's got me the thing I needed, which was the stables. Let's. So I'm going to just do a quick copy and paste, drop this in. I don't know what to do with it just yet. Get the stable thing done, and then I'm going to pick up your ideas into the where you wanted to go. So Malcolm is a veteran adventurer. Okay. Right, let's go here. Stir Oakham. Where are you? Paste. A veteran adventurer that has retired. He runs this tool, making money. That also has. Here, stories from. Okay, something like that. We'll have to rewrite that. Abandoned property with a ghost and an old cottage. It must be. Would have the Fisher. I don't know what this is all about. I'm a little bit lost here. We've got some. You're trying to draw a story around the ghost in the abandoned house, which is fine. Is this? I think this is trying to be an adventure hook, isn't it? I think this is trying to be an adventure hook. Paste. All right. I just need to keep copying and pasting. Stables, good. Thank God for that. Here we go. Marco, leatherwork. Great. Awesome. Thank you. Hooves and track. Great. Awesome. Hooves and track. Where is a hooves and track? Here we go. This is where I want to be. Hooves and track. And track. cut, paste, and here, stables, area, run. Okay, okay, so I think that's it. Whew, wow, all right. All the fish are dead. So what do we do from there? And missing. Yes. Okay, you're doing well, people. Let me at least, you keep throwing out those adventure hooks. I will at least show you what we have done in about an hour and a half, okay? In about an hour and a half, we have built the basic structure of our adventure. That's what we were trying to achieve, okay? And now that we've done that, this is when we can actually start dealing with things that the players can do, their characters can do. This is it. Okay, so here we go. This is rough, people, because I'm having to copy and paste a lot of stuff. So, don't worry about the adventure hook. We're probably not going to have wandering monsters in here. Okay? I usually, with villages, I just say there are no wandering monsters. Unless we want wandering monsters at night, then we might have some creatures that you might encounter in the village. That's probably the only thing. I think it's going to be very basic, simple stuff and nothing too exciting. Is it really even worth considering? Wandering monsters probably not going to be a factor. Next, main features of the place. Okay, so it's a coastal village. We have fish being transported to other towns and cities to be sold. We have a couple of different names. We have a glass beach, basically lightning rods driven into the ground to actually capture lightning coming off the weather fronts. Oyster and pearl jewelry. Don't know how that works. We've got a bunch of information around how at night glowing green luminescent algae and fog is seen coming off the water. Village roads are paved with clam shells and loose shell pieces. We have fruit trees in the village down the bottom, and there's an orchard that's shared and harvested, upkept by upkept by the village itself. Okay, so that's kind of pecan trees, pears, and apples. Right, cool. Locations: Area 1, the old cottage. The old cottage is where an adventurer is that nobody ever sees and probably is never there. It's well maintained. It is locked. It has got a whole bunch of stuff that they can sort of pilfer if they decide to do something stupid like that. General store. Sturm Oaken has this store. He's a retired adventurer. The abandoned house has a ghost that haunts it. It is partially collapsed. We've got a bit of a description. We've got the Boatwright house, which is where Sea Driftwood is, an elderly gnome. We've got a bit of a description. The Orchard house, which is 5. This is basically, we've got a halfling here. And do I have a name for the halfling? Fur. Red hair, wicked face scar. He has no house. No, we'll get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Forget about that. Yeah, I'm just going to go there. Yeah, we'll just get rid of that. Okay, cool. Good for source of lore and history. Crates of apples, pears, and pecans are stored behind the house. The smokehouse, a shack for smoking fish to be shipped. Now, who runs that? We can decide later. It might be somebody who actually runs another part of it. Who knows? The fishmonger. We've got that fishmonger. We've got a manager there, an amphibious race. We have the fish supplies. We don't have somebody who actually is running the fish supply store, but we do have a lot of information there on it. We have the village leader or town leader, and you've got a bit of information around this, which I think is something I'm a little bit I'm not sure what we're doing with this. We don't necessarily have a big fish tavern owner yet, but we do have at least a very basic idea of what it looks like. We have the chapel, which is ramshackled, worn down. We have Abbot Rex there. So we've got a little bit of that stuff going on. The Nautilus Schoolhouse, which is run by Miss Caroline Brightwave. Great. We've got a bit of information on her. Hooves and Tack. Hooves and Tack. Is it Hooves and Tack? Hooves and Track. Hooves and Tack or Hooves and Track? I don't know. Hooves and Track? track. Stable and a carriage storage area run by Marco. Okay, the village centre, we've got that mostly sort of sorted out. It is a fountain with a statue. We don't have a plaque on our statue. Would be nice to sort of explain how the village came about, but that's all right. And then we have our village pier, which is basically just a quick description. Then all of the other things that you guys have suggested that I wasn't too sure what to do with straight away is sitting in here. So there's a few NPCs I can port over. So I'm not worried about NPCs because we've got Shep, we've got Old Crow, we've got Clucker, Mouser. Who else? We've got Elsa. We've got Samuel Fisher. We have so we've got plenty of NPCs to fill out the gaps. It is just now about the adventure hooks and how we get our players to do stuff here. That's really it, and with their characters. So now that I've been going over all of that, I'll probably go back to the chat and find that there's a huge list. Yes, there is. I knew there would be. Okay. Hook. All the fish are dead. Well, we need a bit more than just all the fish are dead. What do you do? All the fish are dead. What else? We need a little bit more leading into that. The adventurer from House 1 has gone missing. Okay. The adventurer from... I think it's the old cottage, isn't it? From the old cottage. Has gone missing. It's this area. Area 1. But we don't have anything else leading into this. So it's just the beginning of an adventure hook. It's not a complete hook. The graffiti on the dock is actually infernal text. Again, what does that actually lead us into? It's not really an adventure hook until we do something else with it. It's an interesting idea, but again, it's not a full-blown adventure hook. Okay. I vote for that. All the fish died and the previous adventurer died and you have to summon their ghost somehow for something. Okay, all right. Crop circles. Mysterious patterns have been flattened on the farms of Area 11. Okay. Crop circles. Is 11 actually a farmhouse? That's the thing. It may not be. It's a chapel, as it happens. I don't think we have a farmhouse as such. We have an orchard. We have the orchard house, but we don't have a farmhouse. So it would require us to move things around and adjust stuff if we needed to do that. So it's not going to be quite so simple. You've got a lot of ideas, Dirk. It's just realising them. It's going to be the thing that it comes down to. Okay, the pecan grove has been infested by tree rats, big squirrels. The crops are being eaten before it can be harvested. Okay, so nice idea, like it. But what are you supposed to do? Kill them all? that's the question. Is what is the deal? So it's an adventure hook with what? Track down the final resting of the previous adventurer doing some ghost stuff on the lake. Moonlight. Okay, all right. PC inherited the haunted abandoned house. Yes, there we go. A player character inherited the haunted abandoned house. I think that's a good idea. Brilliant. Love that. That really does force the issue. When you give players something and then it actually puts them in an odd situation. A character inherited the abandoned house. Abandoned house. But finds it still has a resident that needs laying to rest. Rest or exercised. Something like that. Okay, all right, I got it. That's a good one. I like that one. That's much easier to deal with. Tavern. Breezy Inn run by Tika, a middle-aged woman with missing pinky and ring finger. On the left hand, she is backed by the half-orc name Boar. Okay, Breezy Inn. Well, we do actually have a inn name, Pale Rider, so we can actually just dump that into our inn area. And tavern, where is it? Tavern. Okay, here we go. Paste. Breezy or Tika? Tika, a middle-aged woman with a missing pinky and ring finger, left hand runs the tap house. Okay, yep. I got it. Ogre. Alright, cool. Got that there. Pecan Grove and farming area side quests. Yeah, we are dealing with side quests if you start talking about it. The old lady can't find her cat. Which old lady? Which old lady? You always do this. We always wind up with a cat involved. We've got a lot of ideas, but not fully fleshed out. Okay, let's keep going. Illithids is something you can't use as this is copyright. No, illithids are not copyright. Mind flayers are copyright. Illithids are Call of Cthulhu, so they are public domain because they go right back to the early renditions of Cthulhu. So the word illithid is not an issue. But the illithid is really, the Mind Flayer is simply a blatant copy of the illithid in most respects. So as long as you refer to it as illithid and not Mind Flayer, it would not be copyright. So it would not be an issue, if that was what you were thinking. My gosh, there's so many ideas here. Okay. Am I running out of time yet? Yes, I am. Illithid is something you can use. Don't add the hidden grave sites or graveyards. No, don't worry about graveyards and grave sites. Old ghost ladies, missing rings from corpses. Abnormal weather. Good idea. It is cold and the lake has frozen over. This happens every winter. But this summer, okay, I'm not quite sure what that means. You're using ChatGPT, aren't you, Derp? I can tell because ChatGPT does this. It's an fully formed idea. Or maybe there are claims which have shells that have a giant clam monster. A giant clam monster. There is a giant clam monster attacking the village. Okay, so a giant clam monster attacks the village and needs to be killed or driven away. That was easy to deal with. That was much easier. Good. Hook, attack from the sea. The party is already here. because the game starts here. Now something attacks. And we've got our clam monster, our giant clam monster. Perfect. Combination of Derp and Osiris, and we're there. Spell component. The party is hired to get pearls or other marine components from the lake. Yes. Good. Nice one. And oh my gosh. So much information. Okay. So the characters are hired to get pearls and other marine components from the lake. A wizard's spell component supplies. Okay, I think that's that one, and I think we're gonna have to call it quits there because you guys will keep going, and I know you have, and there's a lot of ideas here, and I'll do my best to put across as much as I can, but let me at least share what we have for today to give you an idea of how much work has been done in such a small space of time with you all working together. When I get a chance, I'll put this up onto Patreon. I almost finished the tall arcane tower that we did a little while ago. It's very, very close. I just need to incorporate the map, which is, as you know, that map is super simple, so it's not going to be a problem. But this is the coastal village that we have been working on. We have a lot of adventure hooks. I still need to add in a few. I need to fully flesh out some of these for them to actually be sort of usable. So don't worry about the wandering monsters. It's highlighted because we're probably going to exclude that completely. Main features of the village. It's a bit rough, but we've got some stuff going on here. Our main location areas. I think there's more than adequate in terms of the name of locations, the information, what you can find in NPCs. Even if you can't see NPCs here, there's plenty of NPCs underneath this, okay, to do all the work. So what we have here, as I said, is Area 1 is the old cottage. Area 2 is the general store. 3 is an abandoned house. 4 is the boatwright house. 5 is the orchard house. The smokehouse is 6. 7 is the fishmonger store. Fishing supplies is 8. 9 is the village leader, and I might just I don't know what I'm going to call this, but it's a house of some kind. I don't know what to call it. I don't know. I'll come back to this. Big Fish Tavern. We have plenty of information on that now. The chapel, we've got our chapel sorted out, which is 11. 12 is the Nautilus house, schoolhouse. 13 is Hooves and Track, which is the stables and the carriage storage area. 14 is the village centre, and 15 is the village pier. And that, I've got a bunch of stuff I've got to try to figure out how to incorporate. I'll figure out how to do that later on. But we did a pretty good job. I think in the given time, with the prompts and your ideas and your thoughts, we've done a pretty good job. I think actually, I would say very impressed. Very impressed. Could have been much worse. And we've covered pretty much all the stuff we needed to. Okay? Which is awesome. So thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Did I get this done? Yes, I did. Okay, I need to finish up here. Run out of time. Need to go to work. Sorry, people. It happens. So, now that we've completed most of the heavy lifting for our adventure, you can see that it's not going to be as hard as you might think to do it yourself. The fewer locations you give yourself with a village, probably the better it will be. Because remember, villages don't need to have a lot of shops, but they do need to have enough to work with for it to be a village. And we do have enough to work with for it to be a village, which is fine. That's great. Awesome. Well done. And we've covered the sorts of things that would make sense for that village, which is good too. So have you made a coastal village adventure before? Yes, 41%. Those of you who are here just did so. No, 23%. So if you just said no, well, you now have. Incomplete, 17%. Okay, well, maybe you consider this incomplete, but maybe your incomplete one will become complete now. Just watching, 17% out of 17 votes. Cool, nice, love it. So this is where I move on. You move on. I will be back tomorrow to cover, I believe, world building. We're doing world building tomorrow. We'll have an hour, 2 hours, hour and a half, 2 hours of world building. So thank you to everybody who's been watching and listening. I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody who took part in the poll. Big, huge thank you to all of my patrons who support me on Patreon. And hopefully when I find enough time, I'll get this up onto Patreon like everything else that hasn't been finished. Trust me, the day is coming when a lot of these things you won't have to wait quite so long for them. I want to thank, in particular, those people in chat who've been sharing their ideas, and there have been a lot of people. Joan, Osiris, Derp, Fred Huber, F. Huber, patron also. Derp's also a patron. Thank you for being here. Murray Shack, also a patron. Thanks for hanging out. I really do appreciate it. Pale Rider, who's been sharing his ideas. There's been a lot of thought gone into how to do this. It's a process. It takes time and a bit of practice. But hey, like that's essentially what we do here. Is you blow. If you build off somebody else's idea, you're going to have a better chance of something coming out that's really good, right? And I would say that's what's happened here today. If I've missed you and didn't mention you in the chat, it's because I've forgotten. Oh, John B. Forgot about John B. Thank you, John B. And anybody else who's put in their ideas. A lot of you have done a lot of work. It's nice to see so many people throwing ideas out there. It makes a lot of work for me. Crunchy245, thank you too, to actually track everything. But it gets the job done fast, which is always nice too. And it's pretty extensive. A lot of ideas going on. So huge thank you to everybody. So wherever you are in the world, whether it be the morning, the afternoon, or the night, okay, please look after yourself, your family, and your friends. Be nice to your neighbours. And hey, till next time, maybe make your own adventure. You can do it. You really can. You can make your own villager adventure. Or you can just go to Patreon and download this thing when it's up there. Anyway, that's fine too. So thank you. Until next time, keep rolling those 20s.